When you walk into a forest, by the sea, or in the mountains, what do you feel? Perhaps a sense of calm, a deep breath coming naturally, or a sudden quietness in your thoughts. This is not a coincidence. Nature has a powerful effect on our minds. In Buddhism, we often talk about the mind as a restless ocean. When the wind is strong, the waves become high and chaotic. But when the wind settles, the water becomes still and clear. Our minds work in the same way. In the modern world, we are constantly bombarded by information, noise, and stress. Our thoughts move like waves in a storm. But when we step into nature, the wind calms down. The mind becomes still. This is because nature does not demand anything from us. It does not judge us, nor does it ask us to be anything other than who we are. When you sit by a river, the water simply flows. When you stand under a tree, the leaves gently move with the wind. These things happen without force, without effort. And when we observe them, we begin to remember that we, too, are part of this same natural flow. Many people believe that spiritual healing is about fixing something that is broken. But in reality, healing is about returning to what is natural. When we feel overwhelmed, disconnected, or lost, it is often because we have moved too far from the simplicity of life. Nature reminds us of this simplicity. It teaches us that we do not have to control everything. The seasons change without our help. The sun rises and sets without our effort. Life moves forward, with or without our interference. The next time you find yourself feeling anxious or exhausted, step outside. Look at the sky. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Listen to the sound of the wind. Let yourself be still, without needing to do anything. In that moment, you may realize that peace is not something we create, it is something we return to, and nature is always waiting for us to return. Have you ever noticed how everything in nature moves at its own pace? The trees do not hurry to grow. The rivers do not rush to reach the ocean. The birds do not sing on command. Everything follows its own rhythm, naturally and effortlessly. In the modern world, we live by schedules and deadlines. We push ourselves to be faster, more productive, always achieving something. But when we step into nature, we enter a different kind of time. The mountain does not care about our worries. The ocean does not hurry to comfort us. And yet, simply being in nature allows us to breathe more deeply, to slow down, and to remember that life is not a race. This shift happens because nature is a mirror. When we see a calm lake, we feel calm. When we watch the steady movement of the clouds, our own thoughts slow down. The natural world does not try to teach us, but by observing it, we learn. We learn how to let things unfold, how to accept change, and how to trust in the flow of life. For example, think about the way a tree experiences the seasons. In spring, it grows new leaves. In summer, it stands tall and full. In autumn, it lets go of what is no longer needed. And in winter, it rests. The tree does not resist this cycle. It simply follows it. In the same way, we too experience different seasons in life. There are times of growth, times of stillness, times of loss, and times of renewal. When we struggle against these natural changes, we create suffering. But when we accept them, as a tree does, we find peace. So how can we allow nature to guide us toward inner peace? The answer is simple: by paying attention. The next time you step outside, do not just see the trees, observe how they move. Do not just hear the wind, listen to its rhythm. Do not just walk on the earth, feel its presence beneath you. When we truly open our senses to the world around us, we become part of it. And when we become part of it, we begin to understand that peace is not something distant or unreachable. It is here, in this moment. in the way the leaves move, in the sound of the rain, in the quiet stillness of a stone. Nature does not rush, and neither should we. If we can learn to move with life instead of against it, we will find that peace is not something we must seek. It is something that has been with us all along. Many people seek healing as if it is something to be found outside of themselves. They read books, follow teachings, and search for answers. But true healing is not about adding more knowledge. It is about removing distractions and remembering what is already within us. And one of the simplest ways to do this is by connecting with nature. You do not need to go on a long retreat or visit a sacred mountain. Spiritual healing can happen in your own backyard, in a nearby park, or even by looking at the sky from your window. The key is not the place itself, but how you engage with it. When you walk outside, do not treat it as just another task. Instead, allow yourself to truly experience it. Feel the texture of the ground beneath your feet. Notice the warmth or coolness of the air. Listen to the different layers of sound. The birds, the wind, the distant hum of life. These simple acts bring us back to the present moment, where healing naturally happens. In Buddhism, we often talk about just being. But what does that mean? Look at a rock on a riverbank. It does not try to be anything other than what it is. It does not wish to be smoother, larger, or in a different place. It simply exists. And in doing so, it is complete. When we spend time in nature, we can practice the same thing, allowing ourselves to be as we are, without judgment, without pressure. This is where deep healing begins. Another way to connect with nature is through small rituals. You might begin your day by watching the sunrise, letting the light fill your mind with quiet energy. Or you could take a short walk in the evening, feeling the transition from day to night. Even touching the bark of a tree or holding a small stone in your hand can remind you of your connection to the earth. These simple moments create space in our minds, space where healing can take root. Most importantly, remember that nature does not ask us to be perfect. The mountain is not concerned with our past mistakes. The river does not hold on to yesterday's troubles. When we are in nature, we are reminded that life is always moving forward. And we too can move forward, not by force, but by allowing ourselves to flow with life. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to who you have always been. And in the quiet presence of trees, water, and sky, you may find that who you are is already enough. Nature has always been here, waiting for us to listen. In its quiet presence, we find clarity. In its steady rhythm, we find peace. And in its vastness, we are reminded that we are never alone. When we spend time in nature, we learn to see life differently. We see that change is natural, that nothing stays the same forever, and that there is a time for everything, a time for growth, a time for rest, a time for letting go. These lessons are not written in words, but they are present in every leaf, every wave, every stone. Even when we return to our daily lives, we can carry these lessons with us. The patience of a tree can remind us to be gentle with ourselves. The openness of the sky can remind us to keep our hearts light. And the steady flow of a river can remind us to trust the path ahead, even when we cannot see where it leads. Nature does not ask for anything from us, but it gives freely. In the same way, I am deeply grateful to those of you who have shared this time with me. Your kindness, your thoughtful comments, and your support through likes, subscriptions, and super thanks mean a great deal. It is heartwarming to know that these words reach people who find meaning in them. If this message has spoken to you in some way, I truly appreciate hearing your thoughts. Your presence, even from a distance, creates a connection that is just as natural and real as the bond we share with the world around us. As you go about your day, I hope you find a moment to step outside, to feel the wind, to listen to the earth, and to remember that you are part of something vast and beautiful. May peace be with you, wherever you are.